Are we good? Hello, my friends.
Hello, hello.
I kind of feel like my introduction should just kind of be like, are we good? Like, but Doug's not in here. So, guys, Doug has left the building. Not the building, just the room. I don't know if a soccer game is there soccer on tonight? Football? Football? We lived in London for 6 years. I know what to call it. Doug, are you watching a soccer game? He's watching the post game. See, I can still get his attention. I just have to be a bit louder. So there you go. My friends, we have Bayes with us tonight. And thanks for being here because it's late.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're East Coast.
Yes.
This is our second time connecting this way.
Yes.
You were gracious enough to host me. And I had said, yeah, I'll post the link and my people will join as well. And I am still learning the things.
It's all right.
And
As I'm learning how to send files on, what do they call it, Google Drive. I was supposed to send you the video and I accidentally restricted the access so that you couldn't open it.
Yeah, but that's a pretty common thing, like with sending, I don't know, with Google stuff. You know what? My head is spinning a bit, and I shouldn't even bring this up because I can't show you the pictures. Doug, I want to show that video of that woman and how she looks like Samantha. You should see his face. He's looking at me like, okay, never mind. Can you, like, if I, okay, I'm going to message you.
No.
What?
Put it on your computer.
How do I put it on my computer?
Instagram.
No, it's the woman's on YouTube. But I don't even know where she is. It doesn't matter. And that's okay, honey. You know he spends a lot of time in here with us, you guys. So I'm just gonna let him be. See, but our place isn't that big though. Clearly, I can just, honey. You have a split level or something, Bayes. You were saying, right?
Yes.
So your woman, to get a hold of you, she has to text you. Is that what she does?
She'll just ring the phone over and over again until I answer. So
I remember back in the day when we lived in Tennessee, and you well, back then, not now so much in the Nashville area, you got a little more, square footage for your dollar. And we bought this really peculiar kind of house. It was a split level, but there was only one way to get downstairs to kind of a winding, but I thought it was great. And with 8 kids, it was like $140,000 house, which, it just, in the last couple of years, it sold for like 1.2 million. And then they just knocked it down for the land. Unfortunately, they didn't pay 1.2. Like I didn't get that much.
You were not the benefactor
No.
of that.
Made a little bit, but not that kind of money. I heard a financial guy say one time, if you buy property, like a house or anything, like find a way to hold on to it, like rent it out or something. But once you actually acquire it, like hold on to it.
Don't let it go.
So now we lived in England for a little bit, and there was another like Christian financial guy that said, even if you're like a missionary and you're working overseas, like we were, I know when people say that, they usually think Africa or something like dramatic like that, but it was pretty dramatic where we were too. Now, Bayes, you got to understand that the game here is you got to pay close attention, because at least 6 times I'm going to say, now what was I saying?
That's fine. I'm a like and but guy. I'll talk and I'll be like editing after the fact, and I'm like,
you're a butt guy. You're a butt guy. That's what we heard, ladies and gentlemen. Bayes is a butt guy. So we knew that we were going to be in the London area indefinitely. So we heard a financial guy say, buy a house if you can. And again, different point in history. This was 1992. And we had full-time residency, and we were able to scrape together enough for a little bitty down payment, and we had our housing allowance, so we bought a house there. And obviously we sold that because who wants to manage a property overseas? I digress. I don't know what we're talking about, because we're supposed to be talking about you.
We're
Not the whole
talking about
time.
May. I didn't think we were going to be talking about May.
Well,
I'm kidding.
May,
I figured we'd probably get into me a little bit.
we will, yeah. Well, now I don't have to ask if you're a butt guy or not. What's the other one? A tea guy, or I'm not going to say it. So you got a clip for us. You're going to kick this thing off.
Yeah, you want to go right into it?
I didn't download any clips.
You didn't. That's okay.
I didn't download anything.
That's okay.
I knew that you were going to bring it. I know you have this thing. There's a lot going
you're
on.
A comedian, though. Have you ever done improv too?
I did improv, as my friends here could probably tell you, twice, and then learned that I wasn't so great at playing with others in terms of comedy, because if somebody tossed me a lob and I knew the punchline was going to be killer, I would like hit the punchline, and they're like, no, you need to do the and
you gotta do the thing. You gotta like build it up and pass it back.
Yeah, but someone's got to dunk it.
Exactly.
Somebody's got to dunk it.
It's funny too.
I'm all for passing a ball now and then.
As soon as you said that you did it twice, I knew that there's a story behind at least one of them.
Yeah.
Because if you tried it twice, then that means that there was like intention to go with it. So there's a reason that there wasn't a third time.
I did. Yeah. It was one of those things, I was living in Burbank, and, an actor, and I was thinking about getting into comedy, and the LA, I forget what the name of the place is now. It's a great place. It's right there in Burbank.
Can't be that great if you don't remember the name of it.
It's been a while. It has been a minute. So I'm sorry. So I saw this thing, and they frame it like an audition. They frame it like an audition. Like, I don't even, I'm like, so kind of like you're auditioning for a comedy troupe, but then everybody makes it. They're just kind of determining what level, to put you. And so I appreciate just straightforward stuff. And again, now I would know. You have to be in this town a little bit, unless you've got somebody taking you by the hand and walking you through it. So you kind of figure out some of these things. But yeah, it was, everybody, they weren't going to kick anybody out. It was just which class they were going to put you. And I realized that I wanted to kind of work through my story, my history, things that brought me out to LA, and that in telling my story with 6 people going yes and to 5 other people before it got to me, it was just going to take a while. So it didn't work out. So here I am. So I did stand up. It took off by the time I was 50, I, was getting my foot in the door, bugging a lot of friends to come to shows and get their 2-drink minimum.
I've been thinking, I'm not going to lie, now that I'm like getting into this, because I was always camera shy. Never.
Really?
Like, it'd be very, very hard to find a picture of me in my teens. I'm like one of those people.
I wasn't even going to try.
If
one of you guys want to give that, it's so funny when I say one of you, I'm looking at the comments over here, like you guys can see me there, but you're still there. If one of you guys, but they don't even know your real name or last name or whatever. So I'm sorry, please continue.
Well, what I was going to say is, now that I'm getting more comfortable, on camera and, doing live shows and making my videos and building a social media presence and whatnot, I was thinking maybe, even though I've never really had comedic timing, I've always been kind of witty. So I was thinking about maybe trying to go to an open mic and take my shot at stand up. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not one that's afraid to get booed though. So that's one of the things that I have going. Like I'm not afraid to bomb. Like some people, they like that's the big thing. They don't want to bomb. You like what if they don't laugh? You know, like I can handle those types of situations. You know, I'll just
well,
am I
well,
allowed to curse on your show or no?
we're mid-level.
Mid
We're
level.
mid-level. I like to be, and you've got, people are clamoring. They're ready for the Erica Kirk talk. There are things going down. There are things happening, and what Doug.
People in the chat saying they can barely hear Blaze.
Oh, there are
Barely
people
hear
saying,
I
bass.
don't have a problem.
Yeah.
hearing them, but
Let me see.
oh, Doug is saying that he can hear you just fine, but some people are saying they cannot.
My mic
So,
is lower for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay, well, let me tell you this.
Guys,
For
put a one in
anybody
the
who's
chat if that's
interested
better.
in stand-up comedy, open mics are great, and they don't boo you at open mics. Usually the only people that are at an open mic are people that are wanting to give it a go, or comedians working out material. A lot of time they're in coffee shops where you pay $10 to have 5 minutes, or you have to buy a cup of coffee and a scone to get time. Often it's pay to play. But usually get 5 minutes, and one open mic is not going to let you know if it's for you or not.
Well, I was thinking more so for the experience. I figure at some point I should do something live. I've been talking to some other content creators about that too.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
it's the energy in a room full of people is spectacular. And I actually did a cruise ship, like 3 of them. It didn't last long because, a ship full of like 2,000 people that spent a lot of money on their drink packages they don't necessarily want to hear 45 minutes of material on like my sobriety journey,
really? You don't think so?
I don't know.
No, not
I
on a
don't
cruise
know.
ship. On a cruise ship, I'm sure a lot of them just want to get wasted.
Yeah, I mean, it's more like the humor they want is, typically speaking, it's more bada bing, bada boom. Why does a mermaid wear? See, I've been done this in so long. See, and now I'm getting confused. Like, why does? See, it has been so long, but it doesn't make sense the way I was going to say it. Why does a mermaid wear seashells? Because she outgrew her bee shells.
Oh.
Or, I didn't write that, but that was when I looked up to help fill time, when I realized that, jokes about my kids, weren't going to fly, because these are people that, they've done the kid thing. They're moving on. They're going around the world. For some of them, this is all they've Some of them have been on like 100 cruises or more.
Yeah, I feel like
I think
a lot of stand up is knowing your crowd too. Right?
it,
To some extent.
there are some great stories of, like, Ray Romano said his worst experience in comedy was doing comedy on a cruise ship. That
Oh,
he
really?
walked around the corner and could hear people saying, oh, that was horrible. I still got a lot of love, even though, some of the sets like did not go great at all.
Have you ever heard the story of Bill Burr's Miami rant? It must have been like 15 years ago.
I don't know.
So
Maybe remind me.
apparently there was no, I'm sorry, it wasn't Miami. It was Philadelphia. So Bill Burr did a show, and he went towards the end. It was like a long, like all day comedy show, and it
Uh-huh.
was outside in the sun, and
Oh.
everybody was wasted. And by the time he got out there, like everybody's just drunk and sloppy and not really caring. So instead of like doing like whatever he was gonna do, he just sat there and did his whole freaking spent all of his time trashing Philadelphia. Every sports team, all their heroes, like just the people, like, oh my God.
Got a little passive aggressive there. What I loved about being in this area is that, like, you can go to like the Hollywood Improv, and then the Laugh Factory is right there too. Like I could see 8 of my favorite comedians like within 2 or 3 hours of each other. And you hear them work out their sets for the HBO's or the Netflix specials they're going to do. So I was at a show with Bill Burr, and he got up there, and he has since recorded this, because once it was on Netflix, I was like, okay, I heard him work this out, this bit out, where it was something about like white women and entitlement. And this was in the belly room upstairs at the Comedy Store. And there was a woman on the front row who was just like, like a early 30s or something, late 20s, and just got huffy and left. And then the guy, then like Bill is like looking at her partner, right, or boyfriend or whoever, and going, what you gonna do? Kind of like, what are you gonna do now? Because you could tell like the guy did not want to go, because it was like, oh shit, like he was not going to come out ahead either way, because either Bill was going to go after him or she was. So I regretted
that's another
not
thing.
just
If you're doing something like that, and then like you're going up there, and the person like before you just totally kills it, and then you got to follow it up. Like I could feel like there could definitely be some pressure there. It's like, gee, thanks.
you just kind of go with it. But you and that's one of the things, you just learning to roll with it. I have actually thought about Erica Kirk when she speaks, how the stories she's comfortable with, because this ties into comedy and performing. Comedians, when it's new material and they're new to the whole thing, they tend to like talk like a little too fast, because they're tired of the dead space, the dead air. But there was something she was doing. You could just tell when you're watching a comedian set, even in here with the pros, you can tell when they hit that part where they're working out something new, because the energy shifts. And so the example I have with Erica Kirk is the one story that she's there's like 3 that she's really comfortable with, but the one about Usha Vance giving her advice about, being on a plane, and you're with your kid, and you have 15 more minutes, just before the plane lands, and the kids are going nuts. And it's funny because she says, when you're on a plane, and I'm like, okay, you're assuming everybody's been on a plane. Not necessarily everybody's been on a plane, but her examples tend to air in that direction, in the entitled bit mode. But she'll very articulately and with energy tell that story, because she's comfortable with it. She owns it. It's, but when she goes into talking about something new, or something maybe that's new to the script, it just, it's that kind of very slow, just wanting to get the words right. And I don't know, it's just,
this might be a controversial opinion, but I think that Erica Kirk would crush it as a stand-up comedian. I do. Not like her scripted self that we see.
And we want to
USA.
thank Babe for joining us tonight. It has been great to have him with us.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if she was like actually herself, and not just like this like scripted zombie that we're seeing going around, just like shilling for foreign nations and government?
Yeah.
And she actually like just like came out and like was more like herself, like 15 years ago, before anybody knew who she was, and just like started like joking about how everybody hates her.
Because those people are dumbfounded with who she is now. Like they're like, she's
playing a role. She's a character. Like you could see it, see me when I was investigating her, like when Charlie died, and I went back and watched her interviews back from like 2012, 2013, 2014,
Mhm.
when she her and her boyfriend at the time, when they were auditioning for the reality show The Amazing Race.
The
Like
Amazing Race. Yeah.
she had a lot of personality. Like she's not like this Christian, Miss Innocent that she
No.
tried to pass herself off as at the
Yeah.
CBS town hall meeting. But like, once upon a time, before she married Charlie Kirk and he got assassinated, it actually seemed like she had a soul. She had a personality. And like that
Yeah.
version of
Yeah.
herself, I think if somebody like the version of her back then was making jokes about who she became now, I think that person would be funny. Does that make sense?
If she could come out of it. Yeah, although no one's going to give a shit. I know what
No,
you're
not
saying.
anymore.
That persona back in the day, like if she would have gone through her beauty pageant phase, come out of that, and then did a circuit as the,
And decided not to
recovering,
sell her
the
soul.
recovering beauty pageant. Yeah, yeah. Something happened, where it's, the point of no return, or Candace is at that place where she's like full in now that Charlie was a mark. Oh, I lost. Oh,
No, that was me.
okay. That the whole thing was intended, that he was a mark. That anyway, I just heard her say that tonight, that she's all in on him being a mark. So
Yeah, if you look at the people that she dated in the past, it's hard to imagine that Charlie was her type. I think
no,
I think
no, not at
I
all.
think TPUSA was her type. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, so I've gone down the whole, like, take the Mossad thing out of it, just from a psychological, you know, perspective of like her, she has said enough things, like in the Megyn Kelly interview in November of 2025. She said, with what I had to, with what I went through in my childhood, with what I went through as a child. So she has said things that indicated there are things that she had to overcome. She had mentioned that doing the pageants was good for her and her mom's relationship. Her mom's been married 4 times. It's real easy for me to think that she chomps down so hard on this turning point as my family things, because she's never really had a family.
Yeah, I think that
Like,
everything that she's been doing since she was an adult was probably for her mom and the people affiliated with her mom. Because she said in interviews that when she was young, she was a tomboy, she had short hair, she loved sports, she was big into basketball. And then, all of a sudden, she's doing beauty pageants. She's doing like little documentaries for her mom, that Black Start USA thing, where she's like
yeah.
pretending to be a CIA analyst with
Oh,
other CIA analysts, being actually former director was James Woolsey was a part of that too.
yeah, with
He was
real
director.
people.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden that what was that movie that they actually said was filmed at Fort Huachuca but never released? Renaissance or something, where she's like
Did they
pretending to be a sniper.
did they actually film it?
I mean they did. It went to photography at least. I mean,
Oh, really?
she was modeling for it. I don't know how much of it was actually filmed. The movie wasn't released, but
Yeah, yeah. For some reason, I don't know if they had a crowdsourcing. I don't know if somebody wants to check that, but Doug's not in here.
and then
Doug.
the whole Romania thing with the nonprofit that she started at 17 years old.
Yeah, and I get that if you're in the pageant world, you have to come up with something. You have to have a charity, you have to have a thing, and you have to start it. Like it looks better if you start it. So if her mom was doing work over there, like I said, just taking the whole Mossad agent thing out of it, I could see where, her mom had military connections. She was so regardless of what her mom was doing, that her mom had connections over there, and Erica needed this for her beauty pageant performance stuff and the performance aspect of everything, which she has, the reality TV shows, you know, auditions, the everything is, you know, whatever, you know, there's a lot of people are driven
Isn't it
for
incredible?
different reasons to do
Isn't it
such things.
Oh yeah, no. But isn't it incredible that the woman spent like 14 years performing in one sense or another, from the pageants to the music videos, the reality shows and whatnot. And
Yeah.
then, you know, once it was time for her to play her main role, you know, that she was apparently born to do, you know, it lasted like a week. It lasted a week. The second she was at the memorial and did the whole "I forgive him" speech, people just started seeing through it. And then by the time you got to December, when she was doing those interviews, it was like,
Mhm.
oh my God. It's like, imagine practicing something for like 15 years and just still being that bad.
Yeah, that's the thing that throws the biggest shadow on the whole secret agent thing, is because for, you know, for me, and I'm not like, I am not set in stone about, except for a few things, but it's just that it's just so bad. It just makes Mossad agents look so bad. And I, you know, I heard a CIA analyst, you know, share the difference between a agent and, you know, someone who's actually an agent and someone who's an asset. Big difference. You know,
Very, very big
like
difference.
Trump, no way in hell, an agent, an asset, definitely. Now, people are asking, what's the subject? What are we talking about? Where are we going?
Well, let's
We don't always know, but Bays
chat.
did bring a
Are
clip
you
for
guys
us.
familiar with Brian Harpole?
So there's this
Right?
guy.
Yeah, there's
If you
this
haven't
guy.
heard,
I don't know if you've heard of him.
this guy walks into a bar.
So there is,
Oh my
hold
God,
on,
yeah.
let me find this for you real quick so that we can
I
pull it up.
never imagined that I would know these names.
Yeah, right.
Never imagined. I didn't follow Turning Point. Would you guys comment for me? Did you like know who I mean, not did you just know who, like, did you follow Turning Point? Were you a Charlie Kirk podcast listener?
You're asking them or me?
I'm asking them. I'm asking them because me, not at all. Not at all. I knew who he was. I wasn't nuts about him. On you know, just some of his points. I got a little more interested in what he had to say when I saw that he was changing his perspective and speaking out about the Israel stuff and the Epstein files, because I knew he was bucking the system, his system. And that always gets my attention because it's, what's the motivation here, right? We're asking that question a lot in this whole realm now. Who are the bad actors and why? Why do people fight so hard, the people that just want to know what really happened? That's really bugging me. That's
I know we went from Charlie Kirk and keep asking questions. If you stop asking questions, that's how you lose your country. To TPUSA 2.0 and Erica Kirk saying, "Stop, just
yeah,
stop."
that you're demonic. That, and how ironic that in Charlie's last, not his last interview, but on August 6th with Megyn Kelly, he said that he wasn't just getting pushback from his Jewish supporters and donors about them disagreeing with things. Like, he's like, if you disagree, like, tell me or whatever. But they're attacking my character, Megyn. They're going after my character. I'm a bad person if I don't agree with this. And it's just a cheap shot. You know, there's no thinking behind it. It's like,
It's
well, it's
just
just
so
demonic.
sad. It's just so
It's what they're
sad
doing
because
for Candace.
you have
Candace
so
is
many
just
people.
crazy.
You have so many people though that claim to be objective and they want to believe that they're on the right side of things, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, whatever your ideologies, wherever your ideologies land you on the political spectrum. But people need to realize that the truth of it is that right now in 2026, both sides are being run by radical extremists that are going to destroy America one way or another. Doesn't matter whether you have the Republicans win or the Democrats win, because the people that are financing everything and really, really calling the shots, they're just out for themselves, and they don't care about American values at all. They don't believe that we're all created equal. They don't believe in freedom of speech. They don't believe in religious tolerance. And though, like, the whole reason that America is this melting pot, and the reason that it functions or it's supposed to function the way it's supposed to, is that we're supposed to be bonded by the Constitution, that people can believe whatever they want, they could pray however they want, they could say whatever they want, and even if you disagree with them, you're going to fight for that right so that we all have that voice. But now it's like you're being run by extremists on both sides. And it's like, no, it's like if you say something that offends them, it's like, and for a long time, it was the right that was making these accusations about the left, that the left was trying to silence everybody. But then all of a sudden, once Israel becomes a bigger part or a more visible part of the picture, because they've been a big part of the picture for decades. But once people started speaking out about Israel, then you have all these people on the right that are saying that the left is going to destroy freedom of speech. They're trying harder to destroy freedom of speech to stick up for Israel. And it's like now it's getting exposed. And that's why a lot of people are starting to say, like, it just feels like a uniparty. Like, even though at the end of the day, we all know when Democrats are in power, Republicans are in power in specific states and counties, like, there's clear differences on the local level. But when you look at like the grand scheme of things and where we're going with war and AI and Medicare and just our natural resources, it's the same thing, because they want it all for themselves, and we're becoming liabilities. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on a
It's
bit.
no, it's a lot, and he brought a Brian Harpole clip, and we are going to get there. Harpole.
I
How do you
think
say it?
Harpole.
I know how to spell it, but
like hard pole without the D.
Harpole. So when I noticed a shift a few months ago, like there was a point a year ago where you didn't see people even saying Israel on social media. Like it seemed like there was consequence for just saying Israel. There was apprehension for doing that, let alone criticizing Bibi Netanyahu, or just saying his name like that. Now, like there's a video I'm working on now, which has me in a little bit of a mood. That
Oh, really?
Yeah, sometimes this base that I've had that's followed me for a while, they're like, okay, you're a little too much Erica Kirk, and I'm like, you don't want me doing too much Epstein stuff. You don't want me doing too much.
YouTube won't even let you.
Or
You won't
stuff.
get views. They'll suppress it. Wait.
No, I don't care. I will share about like what I need to work through, and it's not so much about the views. It's just when I say they don't want me to, I mean like presuming they care about me somewhat. It just wipes me out. It just the stuff that I have to fact check and investigate and source, and it's that dark stuff of all that, and it's
I got very, very depressed and very angry for a long time, and it came in waves. First was last summer when I started really going deep down the rabbit hole on my own and did the research and started coming up with these theories that everybody thought I was crazy for. And that I needed to like unplug a little bit and touch grass, that they thought I was losing it.
Oh, don't. What was that? Yeah. Touch grass. Did you say that before? I had never heard that phrase before. I heard Erica Kirk say it.
No, I don't know who. No, I heard it before Erica Kirk. I don't remember where the first person
I had never heard it. And then the second time I heard it was the lipstick. I mean, not the lipstick. I'm sorry. Some of you guys are commenting about the lipstick. Thank you. It's on the website. It's discontinued, but I found a few and it's on the website. The Colbert. Oh my gosh, the names, the ex-boyfriend who has the pizza tattoo inside his lip.
Oh, Cabot Phillips.
Yeah. But in a post
was that it? Did I get that right, or
No,
am I mixing one
yeah,
with somebody else?
yeah. But he, in a post, said something about touching grass. And I'm
Oh,
like,
did
I've
he?
never heard this before. So you said that, and I don't, you rein that in. I don't want to hear
Yeah,
you.
no, I've heard people say that for years. But
Okay,
but
well,
anyway,
stop.
once the files actually started coming out, and I saw that a lot of things that like I had theorized, like not even that I saw in black and white, is just like pattern recognition. It's like, okay, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're doing this. Like that means they're probably doing this as well. Oh, is my mic still on?
Yes, I could still hear you.
Okay,
And
good.
yes,
No,
yeah,
oh, you know
research
what?
makes me sad. We're right. Go
You
ahead.
know what? For the
What?
people that are complaining about my mic, I think that when I touched something, that it was lowering it without the dial. So I was
It just,
my bad. I just fixed it. I noticed that it got lower for a second. And
it,
I caught it.
it just came in full force. Yeah,
Okay, sorry about that.
good.
But where was I? Anyway, so when the files started coming out, and I started seeing that, like, not only were a lot of my theories correct, but that it was worse than I thought. I got like really, really resentful with people. Like the people that would tell me like, "Oh, touch grass, like you're crazy, you're turning into that guy at the party." I'm like, listen, it's right there in black and white. These are declassified files. You could go on a government website right now and verify it. And then it's like that's when I started really noticing the cognitive dissonance, like people just choosing to keep their heads in the sand. Because if they have to acknowledge and admit that it's true, then maybe we have to do something about it. Maybe their favorite politicians that they've been idolizing and rallying behind might not be the good guys after all.
Yeah, it's a lot. And too, some of the pushback was, well, everything that's in there doesn't mean that it's true. It was just something that was reported to the FBI or a statement that was taken. It doesn't mean that it is.
Now, on an individual level, there's truth in that. But from a systematic level, and meaning when I say systematic, I mean like that the crimes were happening and that the government knew and was not only covering it up, but benefiting off of it. And in some cases, probably behind a lot of it. Then it's like, no, that is 100% true. Whether or not individual A or this celebrity did or didn't do this with that person, like, yeah, you're right. Not everybody. And you could kind of tell too, because like the way they were pushing out Michael Jackson and the files are coming out, and then you got the tabloids and news like, oh, Michael Jackson, and they're showing pictures of him with his own kids with their faces blacked out to try to make it look like he was doing something nefarious. And then you find out later behind the scenes that like Michael Jackson may have had some kind of idea what was going on, and that was his motivation for Neverland Ranch, so that he could have a safe place for children, and that they went after him for it and accused him of doing the things that they accused him of to try to destroy his reputation, because they felt like he was a threat because he was against the system.
Well, and he was too big. What he bought the Beatles catalog,
He had a
and
lot of power and soul.
there comes a point where if you're not a chess piece, right, on their board, then I mean they don't want you owning the board.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
God forbid somebody actually has a say to try to make a difference.
yeah, yeah. I love this joining across the aisles that we've been doing. So you
There
and
are a
I.
lot of people that are finding common ground, that these other issues that meant a lot to them 10 years ago, whether it was religion or like what somebody's sexual orientation was or whatever, like now people like they don't care. It's like, no, all I want to know is, are you about America and locking up PDFs, pedos, people that hurt children. Like
Let
if
me
you're on that side, it's like we could work the rest out later.
let me ask you this. I didn't foresee this, but in doing a clip I did, I covered, a Trump rally, and I used to do these all the time, and because he gives so much to make fun of and jab at, and then the details in the Epstein files and Sasha Riley's story, the details. And I almost did a post where I was like, I will never fucking make a joke about this guy pooping in his pants again, because who cares? Like, this is what he's been doing. This is what we now know. But some of us knew. And over the last, okay, so I did the post. It started to, I kind of ranted a bit at the end, and I had to cut it off because I started to go down this. We tried to tell you, like, over the last 10 years, we tried to tell you. You know, those of us who have survived certain things that, you know, you just know it's just in the air. Of course, that's not going to convince anybody. That's not an persuading, you know, an argument in and of itself to try to explain to people who are saying, well, why are these women just coming forward now that he's running for president? Because he's running for president. Like,
but you see,
you don't want him to be president.
I love how you bring up, we tried to tell you 10 years ago, because that brings up a good point, because you got to realize 10 years ago, he was running against Hillary Clinton. You know, like you talk about people, you know, affiliated and connected, like her and her husband have way more blood on their hands. Well, I mean, I don't know about now, but I was going to say than Trump, but up until the past year, you know, like you look at a lot of the other theories and things out there and connections, you know, like it was Jeffrey.
This is going to get good, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to get good. This is going to get
Jeffrey and Ghislaine that helped build the Clinton Global Initiative and the Clinton Foundation. So
what you're telling me is that it was you were looking at, yeah, Trump's not a great guy, but the accusations, we're not so sure. And
I'm saying that I was 1,000% behind Trump in 2016, because I in my heart, and I still believe this, everything that we're seeing happening now would have happened 10 years ago if Hillary became president. And that's why I talk about it being.
Break that down for me. What do you mean?
I mean the covering up of the files, the war in Iran, like all this corruption that we're seeing. Like Hillary
would have come. It would have.
Yeah, it would have came sooner if Hillary was president.
Because they would have, not because they would have released it, but because what?
I think that what's happening now was always part of the plan. I think that Bill and Hillary were very, very involved with those files and different things.
Yeah, I don't doubt that, but help me understand more about why would it have come out earlier if they wanted it covered up?
No, not that I'm not talking about the files coming out earlier. I'm just saying, like, this level of corruption and these wars overseas. Like, you got to remember, like, when Obama ran in 2008, like, what was his whole slogan? It was all about change. And then he becomes president, and they just went around just bombing all these other nations and taking out these dictators and, you know, pushing through the global agenda. Like Obama was much more of an extension of the Bush administration than anybody will ever want to admit. It wasn't like on the local level, and if you're talking about healthcare or, you know, legalizing gay marriage and stuff like that, I feel like those issues are more of a distraction. Like they want you to think like that's why the votes matter. It's like these things, and to some degree, especially for people that are involved with those issues, it does. But what I'm saying, when you get out of the bubble and you look at the bigger picture with the economy, with healthcare, with these wars overseas, with the controlling of oil and energy, it's the same people pulling the strings on both sides. They're like, it's the same people that are like, if you look at who Epstein's closest associates were, like they were all Democrats. You know, like he was very, very tied in with people like Lawrence Summers, who was a part of the Obama administration, and I believe the Clinton administration too. And he was also the president of Harvard. You know, like he was tied in with a lot of people that are high up in a lot of our biggest college institutions.
Okay, so did I just hear you say that the closest associates to Epstein, you believe, are Democrats? Were Democrats?
Yeah.
And what do you?
Yeah, people like Alan Dershowitz, Lawrence Summers, Jess Staley, like the real players in this. Like, they were Democrats.
Well, see, but that's the thing too. I don't think we necessarily know the names of the real players.
No, we do.
Of the biggest players.
We do. We do. Like it's there. It's just a matter of actually tying. Yeah, no, we 100% do. It's
But I just I
the
do think
Bronfmans, Charles Bronfman, his what was his brother's name? The one that died, the Leon Black. You know, it's like big money people that that control a lot of the things that we buy. Like Les Wexner, obviously, although he's not a
yeah,
Democrat.
yeah, and those names absolutely no doubt. But you know, like the Forbes, you know, fortune list, right? The top however many billionaires or the wealthiest people. You know, the wealthiest people aren't on that list. They don't want to be on that list. So
Yeah,
they're not
just like the
really
people really calling the shots aren't in public office because they don't want to be on camera. They don't want their faces
right,
to be
right.
seen.
So that's why I'm saying that even behind a Lex Wex, like if we can take it back to whoever the top person is, like BB's not the top guy.
No.
He's not the top guy. There's other okay, so my question was, so in looking, and I know this is very candid conversations because you know we don't have to share about who we voted for or why. I was in California.
And just so people know, like I'm not singling out Democrats in any way. It's just Democrats like to like people that vote for the left like to believe that this whole thing with the files is like a Republican thing. That it's just a like and it's not. It goes both ways. It's just the politics. You got to remember when Joe Biden was president and they were charging Trump with 38 felonies for clerical errors. They had these files. You know what I mean? Like if they really wanted to go after Trump and charge him and indict him and throw him in jail, they would have just released the files and said, hey, look, we think that he are this person or off that person. You know what I mean? It's like, why'd they charge him with clerical errors? You know what I mean? Like, that's why I think a lot of it's bullshit.
Well, because one, they weren't clerical errors.
But
and
you know what I mean?
yeah, well, I would say that every president, I will say that in the divine providence of God, the universe, the whatever, I mean, the infection is always going to make it to the surface somehow, or it kills you. So wait, this may not be the best analogy, but you know, no president
No, it is
wanted this to blow. Nobody wanted this to blow up because it was always going to have to come from the people. It was always going to have to be a victim that they couldn't silence. It was always going to have to be a collective. What?
I said, rest in peace, Virginia Giuffre.
Yes. Bless her. You know, and it's horrifying. It's just because we know, because the Southern District Florida Attorney General, who is it usually, if I didn't have this hat on, so normally it would be right there, but who testified that he was told that Epstein was connected to intelligence. And so
I think you're referring to Alex Acosta.
Thank you. Yeah, because I always want to think Jim Acosta. So that's where the Jim came from. I forgot where I was going with that. What overwhelmed me today, because I used to, you know, take Trump's rallies and break them down and do all this quippy stuff. And then the stuff really broke out and I'm like, I can't do that with this guy. And so he did a big rally, you know, the first Pennsylvania one a couple days ago. And I thought, okay, there's some jokes I can make and there's gonna be some meat on this bone. But by the end of it, I was so pissed at people who voted for him. That's my confession to you guys. It was this like eating ice cream on an acid full of stomach full of acid, like that. You just it was this combination. That analogy makes sense in my head because what I'm thinking is I have this love for you and friends and humanity, the humanity in people that voted for him. But part of me, and this is apart from the divine orchestration of what I was going to say earlier, is that a guy like Trump was the only way this was going to come out. No, because he's just a freaking disaster. This is the way it was going to come out. shit, what was I going to say? But I was just so angry because the human side is, we tried to tell you, like, all this stuff that you're seeing now. Yeah, we tried to tell you. And for me, it's not a, I think most of us that are in this position, hello, new member. And I wish my glasses were on better.
Kim
Thank
Rochelle, she's a real one.
Thank
She's
you.
great.
Thank you. That it wasn't just, I think, generally speaking, I should just talk about myself though, that it wasn't just, I told you, like, it's so much deeper than that now. It's kind of it's not even fully asking the question, like, how could you, no, I mean, I really want to ask that. Like, I want, like how the people that like voted for him for like, it just kept coming out. And so, Bayes, what I want to ask you, and this is, who you vote for is a private thing. So what you are voicing is what I've heard so many people say. Well, the other option was Hillary, or the other option was Kamala. Now I kind of go, so, yeah, not a family I would want to be close to, or, whatever. But, and I think for so many men, especially, it's just like, well, yeah, women get raped, women get assaulted, children are abused, but Hillary had a hit on this guy. It's, and I'm not saying that's you. I'm not saying like you're dismissive of, like, why did it come down to, why'd you vote for Trump in 2016?
Because of Hillary Clinton's connections with people like Jeffrey Epstein. That's the ironic part.
Trump was connected. Trump was more connected.
He wasn't more connected. Not
He's in the files over 1 million times.
Yeah, but a lot of that's cooked. That's the files that they gave us.
So it's kind of like, all right, you like, you believe the Bible or you don't, which is again a horrible analogy because I could break that down in so many different ways. But it's like you want to believe the files, or you want to woo people into a certain reality, a wake up because of the files, but no, you're just going to pick and choose what part are true or not. Like, how do you?
Like I said, a lot of it comes down to research that I had been doing before any of it came out. And when I was doing that research back then, the connections with Trump, and don't get me wrong, like, they're there, but they were under a different, they weren't like recent. It wasn't like they had business ties. Like, they actually had a falling out over a property that they were competing for. You gotta realize, with Epstein, the whole thing was that he would put himself in situations in the same social sphere as Trump and many other people. And he wasn't really interested in people like Trump. He was infiltrating the education system. He was acquiring scientists. He was involved with arms and obviously, trafficking and whatnot. But a lot of his ties were stronger with the Democrats. Like that is just that's a fact.
What? See, I would say Epstein's commodity wasn't money; it was people. So tell me more about when you're saying that he wasn't as interested in people as Trump.
I'm saying that Trump was okay. So Trump was like the rich guy in the room trying to get into the cool kids club, and they didn't, like, they rejected him for a very long time. Even if
New
you
York
look,
society,
even if you, well, society in general, even if you look at his administration now, it's filled with people that wanted nothing to do with him, especially back in 2016. They were all never Trumpers. JD Vance, Lindsey Graham, Marco Rubio. Like these were all people that rejected Trump and was telling everybody like Trump won the people, and then the system consumed Trump. Like I believe that 100%. That now there is a chance there are people that believe that because of his ties with the Rothschilds, that maybe Trump was just playing a part and that was how they like tricked the people into voting for him. Now that is possible because Trump went bankrupt. He was he was billions of dollars in debt back in 1990, and it was a man named Wilbur Ross that was working for the Rothschilds, Rothschild Inc., that facilitated all of his loans to get him out of bankruptcy and help him cut that deal where he was able to, like sell the properties, but lease out his name so it would still be named Trump. So like
Right.
when these people bought the companies and he acted like, oh, it was a great business deal. And it was, but it was to keep his name relevant. It was to keep his stock high. But his whole business was real estate and then entertainment. He wasn't involved in education. He wasn't involved in science. He wasn't involved in politics.
No, because he wasn't smart. He wasn't smart enough for it, in my opinion. Now, going back to Florida and the real estate deal, I did a deep dive in this, and I actually earlier it would take a while for me to scroll back because I maybe 2 years ago I did a post on this before I had any kind of following, except for the 600 of you who have been here since the beginning. Thank you. But so you mentioned that the real estate deal they fell out on.
It wasn't a real estate deal. They were both bidding on the same property. Might have been in Palm Beach.
Well, Epstein found the property. It was his deal. It was going. He brought Trump over, as you know, as I believe you would know, to hey, check it out. Like, this is amazing. This is what I want. Check it out. You know, the guy that he already knew enjoyed trying to sleep with his friends' wives, you know, said, come check this out. But he wasn't threatened by Trump because he knew Trump didn't have the cash to get it. Trump left, got in touch with some Russian friends because Trump, you know, the little Russia, the Miami, he was making buku money with the birther babies in southern Florida. Huge industry. And they loved his brand in Russia. So he had deals, you know, you buy a package deal, you know, you could do a $20,000 plan, $50,000 plan, and you get a Bentley, you know, for the few months that you're here. And the Russian, in the Trump brand, you could stay in a hotel with his name on it. You're right, he didn't own the hotels; it was just his branding. So he has all those connections. A lot of them just bought units in the building, like they do in Trump Tower, just as a way to get favor. So he had these relationships with shell companies, with these Russian-based whatever. And I wish I had it right in front of me because I don't like just being vague. But I'm confident talking about this because I've, you know, I can Google the whatever. But so can you guys. And I know you'll get it. You'll get this. So Epstein was like, hey, you know, look at this property. Trump goes over. He decides he wants it. Gets the cash together. Epstein finds out, is ballistically pissed, threatens to make it known where Trump is getting the money from because it would expose this whole money laundering thing. So Trump beat him to the punch by turning him in for sex crimes. And
that sounds like it adds up.
And that is when, remember when Mike Johnson...
That was back in what, like 2005, 2006?
I thought it was the late 90s.
No. It was 2005.
2009. Okay.
No, 2005. Epstein got picked up, and then they cut him the deal in 2007.
No. Okay. And yeah, then Acosta came out with because when Acosta was up for the appointment, and they're like, well, why did you cut this sweetheart deal? Which seems like an interesting card. I mean, to dangle, it's been there, like you said, it's been there all along. So it's very interesting. Like, okay, let's bring that out now. It's always been there, but I guess it's in their face. And maybe it just took one congressman or one senator to go, hey, we know about this, so I'm going to make some noise about it. But that was it. So Epstein was like, this is my house. You took it out from under me. And remember, Trump bought it for X amount with somebody else's money, and then they bought it from him for an exorbitant amount, tens of millions of dollars over what it was worth. And that was like Russian oligarch that, you know, it was a payoff. And so Epstein flat out threatened him. And Trump, like Mike Johnson said, he kind of mumbled it under his breath that one day, you know, well, just like, you know, remember he called him an FBI informant or something. And everyone was like, what? He was informant? And I said, but he was. Like, in my head, I wasn't in deep doing this.
If
or
you
whatever.
think about
but
it,
in my head, I was like, he
what we
wasn't
know
lying.
about Trump, that story actually makes sense.
It's,
you know,
it's
like
yeah.
the story does make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what else I found very interesting? Back when Obama was president and Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, this is after Epstein's sweetheart deal. The FBI was still trying to investigate him because they knew there was more to it, even though that he had the non-prosecution agreement, and that, you know, a lot of the people affiliated with him also had the non-prosecution agreement, which is part of the reason why they were trying to say that they weren't prosecuting now and doing anything, because they already pretty much had immunity. But they tried to get Virginia Giuffre to give testimony, and she refused. And not only that, she moved to Australia and started her life over. She got married. She had 3 kids. Do you know? I forgot what year it was. It was around, sometime between 2010, 2011. The FBI flew to Australia to try to convince her to come back and to give statements and to testify. So that alone tells you that even though like there are a lot of people on both sides of the political spectrum that kind of operate as like a uniparty behind the scenes, and you like their donors and whatnot, like there's a lot of mutual interest there, that it also tells you that there are different factions of our intelligence, especially the FBI, that are operate like you might have one side that's trying to work to cover certain things up and one side that's trying to expose it. And obviously they're never going to admit that to the people. And a lot of that came out with 9/11 too, when you saw like they tried to say that, oh, there was infighting or lack of communication, they said, between the CIA and the FBI. It's like, no, it's not just that there was lack of communication. You had guys like John O'Neill that was saying for years, like, hey, like I'm telling you, like this is going to happen. Like they're making plans. They're going to do something big, might be the World Trade. And the FBI ended up firing him. And this guy ended up getting a job working security at the World Trade Center in August of 2001, and then died in 9/11 saving people. Yeah. Unbelievable.
And I remember Timothy McVeigh, you know, the Oklahoma City bombing.
Yeah, McVeigh.
Yeah, so he was locked up on East Coast, I think, right? And he called them in and said, I've got information on Osama bin Laden, like some plot. And I'm wondering, do you think it's one of those things where like Osama and that, like they really did plan it, and maybe Israel knew, but they just kind of stepped aside and didn't tell us? Or
honestly, I don't think bin Laden had anything to do with it.
Like
I'm not saying that there was like not other Taliban or affiliation, but like bin Laden himself personally, I don't think he had anything to do with it. A lot of people, I mean, more people know this now, but bin Laden, you talk about CIA assets. Bin Laden was a CIA asset that the CIA acquired to help fight the Soviets. You know, like it's crazy. And when 9/11 first happened, bin Laden was saying like, no, you're looking in the wrong direction. Why don't you look within? You know, like that was his stance for years. And it wasn't until like 2004 that he allegedly took credit, which in all likelihood could have been part of some kind of deal. You know, and people got to remember, after 9/11 in December, just 2-3 months later, they had him cornered in Bora Bora and they let him out. They could have captured bin Laden in December. And if they did, we never would have went to Afghanistan, never would have went to Iraq. And then they're like, oh, he got away. The guy's like cornered in a cave and he just gets away. And
It would have been something else, though, don't you think? I mean, it just maybe it wouldn't have been Afghanistan, or maybe it would have been Afghanistan for a different reason.
I mean, well,
It doesn't. It just
when
seems.
you look up the clean break, they always had a plan to take out. It was like a list of 7 nations, and the only one on the list that's left that we have not completely decimated yet is Iran. It's the last one on the list.
I have to tell you that the first video I did where I mentioned Iran, I said Iran, and people were like, "It's not
Iran."
Iran." I just, I'm just passing on the love. They said it to me very respectfully.
I'm a New Yorker. Apparently, I say everything wrong.
No, you say it.
Is it coffee or coffee or is it a ball or ball? Like
you just say it with flair. Well, so tell me, all this started because you were saying that you went through your bitterness and resentment toward people that were just kind of accusing you to going off the deep end.
Yeah.
When you're like, it's there, it's in the files, it's there. And then that crashed you out emotionally a little bit. Is that where you were going with that?
It just made me detach. It made me take a step back. I stopped, I stopped going to places I was invited to, stopped going out of my way to be in touch with certain people. It wasn't like a thing where it's like, oh, I'm not friends with you anymore. I don't want to see, like certain relatives or whatever. It's just like I stopped putting in energy. I wasn't going to like put in energy where I felt like I had to explain myself over my opinions on not, and it's not even about being right, but it's you know what I mean? Like there are things that are really dark about this world that I know to be true. And I'm not going to like feel like I have to explain myself or not talk about it to be able to like fit in with friends and family.
Yeah.
And like that was it. And then I just started lasering in just at my immediate family, like siblings, parents, kids, wife, and my content, and just started doing this full time. And like that was it. I just never looked back. Like my following, my community ended up being like more of my social life than like my old friends.
I when people like my kids per se, like not so much now, but when Facebook was first taking off, or like I moved out here in 2016, didn't really know anybody, and the social media, network, that really is a community. And they'd be like, well, those aren't real friends. That's not, I don't believe that. In my experience, that's not true.
Yeah, no bullshit. For me, instead of like at the end of the week, like going out and like going to a bar or going somewhere, hanging out with friends, like I'll just like turn on the camera and do a members only live and just shoot the shit. You know what I mean? Like, and I love it. I love it. My life is so much better now than it was before.
That's beautiful. You know what I realized after the last live is that I used to get really hung up on like, I'm missing every comment. Like I feel bad, I can't interact. And then I realized it's more about the community interacting with each other.
Yeah.
That, I mean, I look when I can, and Doug is, usually good when he's sitting in here, saying, hey, pay attention.
But that's what I do the members only. Like now, like I'm starting to like get the swing of things and find my own way with stuff. And like, like for example, I did a show last night. I had a topic. I wanted to stay on point. Like I'll try to keep an eye on the comments and just see where people are at to some degree.
Yeah.
I'm not like pulling up comments and, like I'll read some supers at the end, but I did a live an hour, just stayed on point, did my thing. And then when it was over, I told everybody like, I'm going to do a members only after. And, I took a half-hour break. I did the members only and I was on for 2.5 hours, and normally I'll be pulling up the comments and interacting with people, but I sent a couple other creators some links and, shout out to Kevin is Human. Kevin Muse, who's one of Ian Carroll's partners with Web and BioRap. And he came on, and so did Ali Top Files, who I think I saw in the chat earlier, and Chris, who have been doing great work investigating the Charlie Kirk investigation. And they came on, and we were just having fun.
Ali is whose sister? Isn't she connected to, isn't she somebody's sister that...
I don't know.
Ali, you still with us?
You still with us?
For some reason, I thought... But maybe I got confused because you had mentioned something about your sister doing it. And you guys have heard me say this before. This whole thing started because I just needed to process my stuff. So when I moved out here in end of 2015, 2016, we were still in election, stuff, and the Trump Hillary stuff, and we'd been really involved in a church, and it was our church community that helped us adopt children. Their kids were in my youth group program, and I saw some of them defending him, and it was really hard for me. And I was not sober at that point in my life, and I didn't necessarily get drunk and get on and blast. I had enough displaced anger about other things, but I would just let it rip, just let it rip. And this time, at the end of the video, I a couple days ago, I actually didn't. I think I already washed my face and changed my clothes, and it would have been inconsistent. So I just kind of typed it out, and I really took a lot of time and typed out these questions like, we pointed, I don't like to do the we, it's the I. Back to the comedy, back to stand-up, I started to tell stories like on behalf of women, and this one friend was like, no, you need to just make it you. Just make it your story. Don't speak on behalf of everybody, but just tell your story. And so in that writing, I was just like, it was just the humanity in me. It was just the tiredness of, this could be avoidable, but in the cosmic God side of it, Bayes. And do you, what's your take on this? Ultimately, what saves my sanity at the end of the day is that, if you're going to fix a broken leg, there's pain, or reset a leg that's been healed wrong. You got to break it and put it back together. Like we are never going to heal from certain things. We're never going to grow. The infection is never going to be exposed until the wound is, and then it's scraped out, and that's a painful process. And how many more analogies or metaphors can I come up with? But that this had to happen. And on some level, I had said, I'm not a very smooth talker. When I get worked up, I need to.
Neither am I. Don't worry. Like I said, I'll either be talking a lot of likes and butts, or I'll just get worked up and just go on a rant and not realize what I'm saying till after the fact.
Yeah, I'm a little tired too. I go through these spurts, like, I could be up for like 30 hours because I'm really into researching something and really enjoying it. And so my system is not completely regulated, which is probably why I keep asking you guys, like, where was I? What was I saying? Like I'm going to do right now. Because it was significant, actually.
You were asking, you were, I think you were getting to like asking me how I cope with certain things, like losing hope and everything. That was where I took it.
No.
No, that wasn't it. I thought you were working towards something.
It was something to do with you. Damn it! This should be a game show. This should be a game show. What was I saying?
Chat, help her out.
No, I don't know, you guys.
A
so I
conversation
moved
like
out
this,
here.
I'm surprised people in the chat aren't arguing.
Oh, then I got sober, and Doug you just stay out there. You're not in the circle of trust right now. You watch your soccer stuff.
Well, you were also talking about resentment that you had towards people that voted for Trump, and you had said that there was a point where you were around people and you weren't sober yet, and things were coming out.
And that's where I was going, was how, when I wrote this thing, first of all, it was a big step of my sanctification process, per se, to not just get on and rant. Like in 2015, 2016, I would just be like, I just have to let it out. I don't have to do that, so much. I didn't have to turn on the camera. I wrote, which helped. And then when something is confrontational, my mom, who's a therapist she was 16. I was 16 when she that messes up a kid. When your mom becomes a therapist, when you're 16 years old, you just want to watch Murder, She Wrote. You don't want to know what kind of psychiatric treatment could have helped the murderer. You just,
yeah.
wanna,
She would give that kind of commentary on the TV shows, diagnosing people.
Clearly, she has schizophrenic detachment issues from her father. My kids can't watch anything with me because I'm like, oh, they were so nice. They were so nice on set. They were, or this is what happened, because of all the background work I did, or if I filmed something, almost any TV show, there's some connection. I'll go, oh, they have a Think Happy Stuff hat. And they're just like, Mom, we just want to watch. There's a couple kids that I've been out of touch with, and not my choice. It's 75% of parents have estrangement issues.
Well, I was going to say, you do have 8 kids.
Odds were pretty good.
If it's only 3 of them that are out of touch, you're batting pretty well.
Yeah. Somebody was saying, oh, the Kennedy family is cursed. They die in these tragic ways. No, there's so many of them, and they have a lot of money. So they're going to die in very eccentric kind of ways. I don't know. But yeah, you're my guest. We should make it about you. So you started when did you say this is my thing?
I'll tell you exactly when.
Do this.
I'll tell you exactly when. And before I get to that though, I just want to bring up a point, because when you were talking about resentment towards Trump supporters and saying that oh, we try to tell you, you have to realize something, that in 2024, the reason Trump won the election was because people surrounding him were talking about releasing these files. They were talking about transparency. Like Tulsi Gabbard left the Democrat Party and got behind him, or RFK Jr. left the party and got behind him. So there was this belief that Trump was really finally going to drain the swamp and expose everything. And the whole reason that they ended up releasing the files is because of all the people on the right that turned on Trump once they woke up and realized that he was full of shit. And I'm telling you.
Why would you believe him, though? Why would you believe him? He was promising free in vitro treatments. Anybody with a sense would know how expensive those are. And the government wasn't going to cover the cost of it. Mexico would build the wall.
I'll be honest,
why would you believe him?
Even with the wall, if he was going to build the wall, he should have just built. He should have just built it. Like you didn't need Mexico to build the wall. This is when politics just gets so mess. You know what I mean? It's who's going to pay for this? Who's going to pay for that? It's you realize that we just spent $1 trillion. Think about all the money that he's paying ICE right now. 50 billion for the year, and then it's going up to what, 75?
Yeah, but the point is he lied.
He built the damn wall. Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, he is. And the lies are really,
so
really
what I
bad.
hear you saying is you got played and believe in him.
Oh yeah, no, I'll tell you exactly the moment. There was a meeting, and they had the press there, and somebody asked Pam Bondi about when they're going to release the files, and then Trump's like, "You're still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? For years they're talking about this guy, trying to sweep it under the rug and move on." And I'm like, "Oh my God, he's covering it up." I'm like, he's completely full of shit. Because I think that people that supported him always knew that he was kind of full of shit, but it also played with his personality and him being an asshole and just being a wise ass and a lot of trolling. Yeah. But I think that when it came to the big issues, for me personally, when it came to the big things that really mattered, ending the wars, keeping America out of war, exposing the corruption that I believed didn't have anything to do with him. That stuff I believed in him with. And if he would follow through with that, then I could tolerate the rest. But then once I saw that he was covering up the files, I'm like, fuck this. And I just got in front of the computer, and for 3 months straight, I didn't work. I didn't go out. I didn't hang out. I didn't socialize. Gave myself a crash course in history. And it started with just trying to like more recent stuff. Then it went to 9/11. Then it went forward a bit to the 2008 financial crisis. Then all of a sudden I'm looking into Iran-Contra. Then I'm looking into Nassau, World War II, World War I, and it just kept going back. And the way that I was using AI and creating models, I started going really far back. And long story short, it became a real journey and experience. And somewhere towards, I don't want to say the end of it, but the end of that chapter, you know, like I found Jesus. I started believing in God, which was something that I
Really?
didn't do. Yeah, it was something that I really like. I grew up on George Carlin. Okay. So like I grew up Catholic and a George Carlin fan at 9 years old. So I like anybody who grew up Catholic or knows watches George Carlin, like I feel like that's all I have to say. But yeah, like doing this research, I'm like, oh my God. Like, you know, like, and then I just realized like a lot of what people believe to be true about the world is a lie.
So, where did a faith transition? I mean, because a lot of people would be like, there is no God.
Because I started
So,
realizing that these people really were worshiping, like you could say worshiping the devil, but like worshiping Baal, worshiping Malik, worshiping Saturn. Like, and it's
yeah.
like if they're doing all this stuff and they're doing this in secret and they really believe it, and like they're what they're doing to children and everything, like they're doing it for a reason. So if they believe it, the people with all the knowledge, if they believe it and they think that's real, then it's like, you know, for a positive, there's a negative. You know what I mean? Like if they believe the devil's real, then there's a better chance that God is real. And then the same way that I was running legal documents through AI and cross-referencing things, I started
Mhm.
doing it with scripture and taking all the scripture from
Oh,
different religions and cross-referencing that. And then I started cross-referencing that through history and what's going on now. And I'm like, oh my God, they're using the New Testament as a movie script. It's like, why would they do that if it's just bull? You know what I mean? Like they're using the Bible as a movie script, like it's a play, and they're acting things out. You know, and then I started putting more focus on Jesus and how Christianity spread and how Islam spread, and I'm like, oh my God, like Jesus is real.
and think about it. You couldn't get Trump through the gate unless there was a grace factor, right? Unless there was a redemption factor, unless he could say, well, because I heard people say this all the time. Well, everybody has a past, but look who God used in the Bible. And using that as an example. Or with Erica Kirk now, nobody would hire her with her qualifications and her emotional state and nobody would go, I want to hire her to be a CEO.
Yeah, hell no. Hell no.
No, nobody would
They'd
do
put her
that.
on leave. They'd say, go home, heal, take care of yourself. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
they'll talk to her in 6 months and see if she's not batshit crazy. You know,
But
like in any real business, that is exactly how it would have went.
And it would, and even the widow card isn't enough. So they had to pull out the Bible verses, take them completely out of context about the widow, the
And
wrath
she
of
can't
God.
even say it naturally. Like when she would talk that stuff, like it sounded so scripted and robotic. You know, like find me one conversation where like she's talking to somebody like the way that we're talking, and you could tell that she believes in her words. The closest that I've seen Erica Kirk being real was when she spoke at I think it was at a high school, and she sounded drunk. Like she
Oh
looked like
yeah,
she was
people thought
crashing
she
out. Oh,
was.
you know which one I'm
Yeah,
talking about? When she was
yeah,
like
I know
up there all
exactly.
depressed and like completely crashed
Mhm.
out on stage. That
Horrible.
was like the closest to her coming off real that I've seen since Charlie died.
There was a part in Megyn Kelly's interview where she, in a much more natural sense, said, I wasn't going to date guys in Manhattan. And I wish she would have made that more clear that, I just wasn't going to date Manhattan guys. Because I always kind of interpreted it that way. Not that she wasn't going to date at all, but just the guys in New York City, she wasn't going to date them. And I remember the first time I saw that part of the interview, I go, I like that person. Not like well, we wouldn't be hanging out, but that's a real person.
And
And
that's what I was trying to allude to before when I was saying that you would crush it in stand-up, is like when you watch her interviews between 2012 and 2014, 2015, she is a completely different person than she is now. It is
yeah,
not the
but you
same
can,
person.
honey, you can say that without the analogy about her being good in stand-up. So let's
No. I was
no, I
saying,
just don't ever want to hear you say that again.
okay,
If I'm not being
let me
clear,
articulate
don't
it better.
ever want to hear you say
A person with that personality making fun of what she's been going through the past year with everybody hating her. That's what I meant.
Right. But you can only do that if you believe the gospel. This is going to take a quick turn for a second. She does not believe the gospel. We know that. I proved this point blank in a post. I'm sorry, my hands flying everywhere. The last interview where she's dressed like the chair and she's soaked into it, she said, when I get to heaven, God willing. Okay, it's pretty clear. I mean, it's not pretty clear. It's clear what God's offer here is, and that it's a gift of grace. You don't deserve it, and Jesus died over 2,000 years ago, so it's for all the sins, because you were a way in the future. And then she says, and then she stands before him and says, basically, like, I forgive you for everything except this one thing. And the one thing would be not that she was involved in the assassination of her husband, but although ironically, there was a point where I go, I don't know that she's talking about Tyler Robinson, but she was alluding to that, or the flow of the conversation was that if she didn't forgive, because the question was all about her forgiving Tyler Robinson, which I've broken down in so many ways that clearly she has not done that. There's no fruit on that tree about forgiveness.
No.
But those two things, she doesn't believe it.
I think that it's not that she doesn't forgive Tyler Robinson. She doesn't forgive the people that don't believe that Tyler Robinson was a lone shooter.
Oh, yeah.
She forgives him. She just doesn't forgive us.
She doesn't care to, yeah. I just like how Trump was surprised, genuinely surprised. And I think Bibi and Jared Kushner, who, all in wanted this war.
I know.
Yeah, they convinced him it would be a quick thing. And he had the Venezuela example. One day, bada bing, bada boom, get out there.
Bibi knew that wasn't going to be the case. No, I think anybody that knew anything about geopolitics and about Iran or Iran knew that wasn't going to be the case.
He's standing up there a couple days ago in Pennsylvania going, no president for 46 years did this, but I was willing to do it. There is a great interview.
And it only cost $250 million.
And lives. Yeah. Now, regardless, you guys, listen to me. Bayes, honey, you too. Regardless of what you think of Hillary Clinton, there is an interview of her circulating right now and clips from it where she is like, yeah, Bibi was, constantly calling me and trying to suck us into this thing. And it was Bibi and the other, I don't know who was in power in Iran at the time, but she'd say, I'd have them both on the phone, like for hours. And they're both saying the planes are on the tarmac, like kind of threatening. Like two little petulant children of, we're really going to do this. And at one point she said, she was just like, knock yourselves out. like we're not doing this though. This isn't, we don't have a dog in this, fight. You can't tell me, people, you can't convince me she is worse than Trump. They're not. And if you want to get back to the gospel, and this isn't, you're a sinner or you aren't, you're still in the same pool, right? Just like Tyler, in one video, I said, well, Erica, you're praying for him, right? Because you want to make heaven crowded, right? So if he gets saved, then he'll be with Charlie. So people right now can't even fully think, oh, Tyler and Charlie could be hanging out because they want him to be killed and essentially go to hell. And
yeah, no, I don't want you or anyone else to get mad at me for this, but like, I just have to say,
but I'm gonna.
I'm just gonna be real. I think I still, I think,
don't you fucking say it.
I think Hillary Clinton is pure evil. I think she is evil. 1,000%.
What do you think Trump? What do you think Trump raping children? Epstein. He and Epstein. This is what they settled on. The accountant testified to this, that the money was paid out to Jane Doe number 4. She was 13 years old, tied to a bedpost, and they fought over who got to rape her first because she was a virgin. They raped her anally. She was 13 years old. The details of some of these things, Bayes.
Have you ever seen the video that came out of allegedly came out of Anthony Weiner's laptop?
No, I haven't seen the video.
It's horrific.
I know,
It's
but can you?
horrific.
But can you?
They
can you
have
track
a
me on this?
boy.
No, wait, honey, wait. But so I get what you're saying. But do you hear what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, she could be all encompassing evil. Yes. And so is that son of a bitch.
Well, that was going to be my next point. That if we were able to get like real files on all these people, I don't think anybody would ever be arguing over which one's better. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's at this point we should know that it's all pretty bad. Like,
Yeah,
there's
my point.
When you look in politics in the last couple of decades, there's no good guys in that story.
No, there's not, but they're also not all the same. And the people who tend to say that tend to be the ones who voted for Donald Trump. And it's a stepping stone to going, yeah, well, that sucked. I made a bad choice. That's reality. Because let's say Kamala or Hillary, okay, if Clinton was Secretary of State, okay? So she kept that dog, BB, at bay. Kamala and Biden, regardless of if he was a clone and she's stupid, whatever, like, my son wasn't going to die. My son wasn't at risk of dying. So yeah, they're the same. They're all politicians. They all lie. Democrats lie, whatever. But is it going to kill my son? So, and for Trump, yes, Trump will kill your children. He will send them to war. He will kill them. Allegedly, in my opinion. Is that what I'm saying? He doesn't care.
I don't know if the
so
I think you could word that a little bit better. That Trump would be more trigger happy in terms of putting troops on the ground where American lives will be at stake.
Well, he is not would be. He is. He doesn't care. He's literally said he doesn't. People are. We don't. Food is. The reporter asked him the cost of this war on the people. I don't think about the American people. All I think about is Iran not getting a nuclear weapon. Wasn't an issue. Was not an issue.
Yeah, Iran was not. The whole thing
was not
to say that this was about Iran and nuclear weapons it's just laughable. It's laughable.
So you guys, you got that? So Bayes and I are totally on the same page about that. And you know what's beautiful about this is that this freaking Erica Kirk thing. I mean, how bad is this Erica Kirk situation if the two things are uniting the country right now, in addition to nobody being excited about the war, are the Epstein files and Erica Kirk?
Well, this is what I was saying before. Imagine if we didn't have the files out and we didn't have the whole, Charlie Kirk getting assassinated and the whole investigation, and you and me met in a bar and started talking politics. You know what I mean? Imagine in 2020. I don't know why my mic keeps acting.
Well, let me think. Was I sober in 2020? I had just gotten sober. So sober, Chris. I don't know. In 2016, the first round, it would have been really, it would have been bad. I don't give that kind of, this is going to sound so freaking Oprah for lack of, there's another can of worms, but I don't give that kind of power away anymore, of people.
But that's what it is. And you know what? Shout out to Jim Brewer. He is the best. He He talks about it all. Like he does these stand-ups, and he does a show every week where he's just like making fun of it. Like he just make fun of all of it. Bill Gates, the war, just making jokes. And he says like why are you giving it your energy? Like they're harvesting your energy when you get stressed, when you get upset. It's like you're watching the news and you're getting all worked up, and then you're arguing with people over strangers and people that you don't know and what they're doing and what you think they're gonna do or that they did. It's like don't give in. Like you're getting suckered in.
No.
And he's 100% right.
Yeah, first of all, I want to remind you guys that there are the rage baiters, right, who are just posting things to get the clicks and the comments because it makes them money. So if you see a post or a comment that pisses you off on a post that you don't like, when you comment and you engage like that, you're getting them paid. Okay. So and
you're feeding the machine.
And you in that moment, it's that escape and that quick release of, well, I'm going to let it rip, and I'm going to but it doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do you any favors. And yeah, I mean, like with Bays and with you guys, forgetting that this is now completely available to the world. This is safe. It's just us. It's just us. I gave Joe Rogan so much shit when he was outed Theo Vaughn as suicidal, ideation issues. And part of his apology, which I criticized as being a shit apology, and in many ways it was. But again, my mom was a therapist. So, Joe was maybe not raised with the I hear you skills. What I hear you saying is this. But damn it, I did it again. Forgot where I was going.
You gave Joe Rogan so much shit for when he outed Theo Vaughn.
It should be a drinking game. When Chris forgets what she is going to say next, take a whatever. Not that I want to promote it. Escapism. And it's that's what I was talking about. Escapism. You're getting people paid. So this is what I've decided to do. And some of you have caught this on X, is that somebody will come at me really mean, and I'm like, somebody came at me, I don't know, and I'll be like, hey, thanks for commenting. So you don't agree with this. Could you answer? There's not a lot of engagement about these things. So could you answer this question? Why do you think they paved over the thing? And I'm just like, maybe this is a person that'll really, talk about it. And some of my people commented, you're owning the trolls. And I'm like, you're giving me too much credit here. But now I'm kind of like, oh, no. But anyway, I'm not a good poker player. I just show my hand.
We are an hour and 35 minutes in, and we have still not yet played this clip. And I didn't even, did I tell you about the clip? Like why I wanted to play it? I don't even think I did. I think I just told you.
No, and I didn't ask because I wanted to be surprised.
Oh, yeah. I want to get, this has been, and I got to tell you, you really are a sweetheart. You are such a freaking awesome person, such a great person to talk to. And it's great when you have people that you can have disagreements with and have see things a different way, and it still be a pleasant and enjoyable conversation. I feel like the world just needs more of that. It's finding the common ground, having the dialogue, not getting emotionally invested on a certain point or whatever, and just trying to find understanding so that people could work things out. The same way when you were talking about comedians and how when you see them before they do their Netflix specials and they're talking, and they're practicing and working out their stand-up. That's what people need to do with communicating with each other. You just gotta just work things out, especially if you're whatever your views are. I'm not gonna point out a specific person, war, or whatever, but if you have two sides of an argument and they both see things a certain way, one side might be leaning towards all the negatives and one thing on one side, and the other side might see they see it differently for a reason. There might be explanations for certain things. Every reason that you have for not liking someone might not be valid, might not all be accurate. And then every reason that they have for liking the person might, you know what I mean? And it's and that's why the truth is so important, because the truth is the truth.
And yes, and iron sharpens iron. So the Bible says. It's just
true too.
So when these people who pop up with their scripture about you're going to burn in hell for criticizing a widow, I'm like, what Jesus you got going on there? It's like this. Trumpian, like Eric, like I don't even know what category. I actually heard a speaker. Like how do you believe the gospel and lose all compassion for people? You know, like first of all, I don't believe in hell. So have fun with that one. But
I think we're already there, and that finding Jesus is your way out.
Yeah. But you know, but these people are literally like, you should burn in hell if you are making fun of Erica Kirk. You know what? It's a good thing I'm making jokes, because you don't want me like, you know.
Getting worked up.
This is healthy. Whatever I got going on here, this is healthy. Imagine this not sober. Imagine what I got going on here. When I moved out here, my friend was like, Chris, just use your powers for good. Just use your powers for good. Somebody said I was talking too close to the microphone, like the last time, so I'm on it.
What? You sounded good the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. I'm having the issues.
Yeah. So these people that are like, what, the gospel and the grace is only for them. I wanted to say this too. When you were investigating like this, you were waking up. I had put, even to this day, I haven't cracked the Bible in a long time, but for a few months before Charlie died, like all these like Bible verses were coming to mind, like boom, 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 boom. And I was just like, what's the deal? And my intuitiveness like rose. It was not long after I had a cruise to the Antarctic, so maybe that has something to do with it. And I started like some near-death experience stuff. Okay. I mean, just into all that. Oh, damn it. We're going to do the video, but don't let me forget, because I'm going to forget this. I'm going to forget this.
Then go first. Don't worry.
Okay. I don't know what I was saying, but this is what I want to say.
Take a shot.
Oh, I know. Take a shot. The jellyfish UFO drone Iran thing. God, I wish I had the videos of this. Did you see on the news today that a fighter pilot that was able to eject said that there was like a swarm of drones, but it looked like alien, it looked like quote unquote alien shit, was his quote. It looked like quote alien shit. And because for so long, like for at least, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, there's been this mystery about this UFO, this jellyfish UFO, and it looked like a translucent jellyfish that was going around like military base areas. Well, now they're saying that they think it's Iran. See, I could say Iranian, but Iranian, like drones, the technology. But now, huh? But yeah, so the news. So I'm looking at.
I mean, just think about it. You see how advanced technology is, right? And you see how we have so many drones and everything they're flying in the sky. Why wouldn't they be working on that technology to put into the ocean? You know, like it makes so much sense, especially like, you know, like
yeah. Well, okay, you got to play that clip. And I just saw somebody ask about my friend Robert, who is raising money for his van. He's a no leg guy, and I wasn't words are just not. I'm not being articulate.
They're not flowing.
He's got no legs, and he needs a van, because literally the one that they were using, which broke down, like they would get the chair in there, and he would just like roll around and like.
So you're trying to raise money for it?
Yes, thank you. So there's a GoFundMe. Doug, can you hear me?
Did you make a video about it? Like something I could share on IG?
I
did.
That's
where my following's bigger.
And I need to put the link in the comments here, because somebody was asking, and I don't know how to do. I guess I could do it on my phone and then whatever. So post your. I just get so excited and all these things I want to say and tangents, and this is why it takes me 2.5 days to do a 12-minute video if I'm doing edits, because I go down all these paths. But yeah, I was sitting on my bed.
You don't have Doug doing the editing, like you just freestyling and he edits while you go.
Doug doesn't. No, Doug goes, "You go, girl." That's Doug's contribution, and you know he doesn't say that. He's like, "What do you want from the grocery?" He's gonna be pissed. I was doing this.
He's gonna watch
video
this later, be like, "What the hell? Like, what did I do?"
Earlier. I was like doing this video, and it, like I said, the research, and like it's just dark and heavy, and you wouldn't know it by the time I digest it and make a funny, but informative video. There's a process to that, and today that process involved emotionally eating, which was like, honey, I need some strawberry ice cream. Would you please?
That's always fun.
So it's close. So, but yeah, but so the jellyfish thing, because I'm an experiencer. I've like UFO like really close. Me and my brother, we only talked about it in this last year or so because last November everybody was seeing them, and all of a sudden everybody was talking about them. Now we're talking about, the Epstein files and all the stuff that's in there. And everybody's waking up, and community makes a difference. And this crowdsourcing, like Candace is spearheaded, and the fact that there's somebody in France that says, hey, look at that broken piece of whatever, that's a lapel mic. And eye doctors message in and say, that's not shattered sunglasses on there because they're designed to not shatter that way. The way community is coming together and working this stuff out. And so,
you know what, with the whole thing with the
we need each other.
With the glass in the SUV, I can't imagine. Like, see, this is where it's like, maybe I'm overthinking. But if the people that were in that SUV were responsible with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, then that means that they would know that the plastic, like, why wouldn't they remove the plastic before they come and take pictures? Like, you don't think that they would do like a check and be like, oh shit, we got pieces all over the place, we got to get out?
There wouldn't be any human way possible to do what they needed to do that vehicle. So that's why within 24 hours it was detailed, and they said sold. I bet it was burned and smashed.
But somebody had to go in and take pictures and see the plastic there.
Who took the pictures?
Wouldn't they have cleaned it? Wouldn't they have scrubbed it? If they have the pieces, does that mean that it got put into evidence? And if the pieces are there and they're in evidence, then that means that Tyler Robinson's, like, they should be doing a private investigation, and they should see if there's any type of residue on those pieces that can trace back to an explosive. Like, doesn't all that make sense? Chat, what do you guys think? Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, but they didn't worry about it. Think about how emboldened Israel was, which is my opinion, that to pull this thing off in broad
but
daylight.
I'm not talking about Israel. I'm talking about the people that were in the car with Charlie, because there are a lot of people that believe, especially like when you look at the hand signals and all that, that at least somebody that at least somebody there was involved. Like, for a long time, a lot of people, myself included, were really questioning Brian Harpole. Like, you know what I mean? Like this guy seems guilty. Like when you watch the interview, he's stuttering, he's nervous. But then, like, I spoke to somebody that knows him. That's like, no, like, Brian Harpole loved Charlie.
He's not that way. And
I feel like, like when people say like, oh, it's a big conspiracy, they all turned on Charlie. I don't think it's necessarily like all these people plotted and they like met in a room one day and said, okay, we got to go through with this. I think that it was after the fact that it's people like nobody wants to be the one to speak up. Like, everybody's either compromised in some way, or maybe there are people there that aren't really in the know, but they're afraid that if they speak up, something will happen to them or their family, but it just blows my mind that like all these people involved, that they're all going with the narrative.
Do you watch Candace?
Of course I watch Candace.
Okay, then what are you talking about?
what do you mean? What am I?
No. Like, probably I'm just trying to do too many things at one time. But you were saying that so what I hear you saying was they were not, like, they didn't know it was going to happen. The people in the car,
No. What I'm saying is, if they used an explosive mic to kill Charlie,
Mhm,
if they were smart enough and they knew to pave over the scene because they were worried about the evidence,
mhm.
why wouldn't anybody think, hey, maybe the pieces that are all over him and got all over the car, maybe we should get rid of that before we have to hand the car over and they start taking pictures?
Well, because of
You
who
know what I'm
took the
saying?
car, the cleanup, the fixers, the fixers
That's
fixed
exactly
the car. They got rid of the car.
where are the fixers? Like, what? Why did they allow those pictures to be taken? Is what I'm saying.
Well, that's what I want to know. You guys, like, I was thinking this today. Who took those pictures? How did Candace get those pictures? Oh, the pictures, Sam just said the pictures were taken by a source only known to Candace. Well, that source was very close. And didn't Mikey say to look at, it would be the inner sanctum kind of people. Mikey was like, take a closer look at Andrew, who wasn't there. But yeah, so the fixer, there was no, what I was saying was that there was no way humanly possible they could have cleaned up the car and picked up all the little pieces of broken anything, or the fibers and whatever. So which is why the car immediately was whisked away, and they said it was detailed and sold.
That's so weird.
We would know because we'd go to that person
detailed and sold. Like, why wouldn't it be impounded when there's a vehicle that's involved with a crime scene or after, and there's blood in it? Like, usually they keep it as evidence for an extended period of time until at least, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, same thing with Charlie's phone. Why didn't the feds see the messages that Charlie was texting Dan Flood and Andrew Colvette that he was afraid for his life? And Erica is getting on Glenn Beck like a retard, pardon my language, saying, oh, well, he wasn't texting people. He was afraid. I would know. I have his phone. It's like, number one, why do you have his phone? Number two, when you find out that he was texting people, like, why didn't they tell you? Like, Andrew Colvette literally works for Erica, sitting in Charlie's chair. Dan Flood, top guy of risk management, like number one. Like, everyone thought that Brian Harpole was like head of security. Dan Flood was above him. He was above him. He was the one that stood behind Charlie every day. Why wouldn't those two individuals go to Erica, especially when she's going around publicly saying that those messages don't exist, and say, hey, no, they do exist. He messaged me. He did think he was in danger. You might be in danger too. Like, don't you think that in a rational situation that Andrew Colvette and Dan Flood would be telling Erica and everybody else, yeah, Charlie was afraid. Like, we need to protect Erica. She might be in danger. And her going around saying, yeah, no, they don't exist. It didn't happen. I would know. I have his phone.
And I believe
when Candace calls it out, but when Candace calls it out, she doesn't make a statement, and nobody's asking questions. And all these people that are so quick to like find any little thing that maybe Candace got wrong and jump all over her, all over social media. These same scumbags are the ones saying that, you know, we're wrong for attacking a widow. It's like, no, like, bring the same energy to everybody. But
listen, the real question was, why didn't Charlie tell her that he was afraid for his life? She didn't know. I believe that was there were a couple authentic moments in that Glenn Beck. One was when she found the note and loneliness was on the list. And you guys check out the interview if you haven't seen it, but she was like, loneliness. That's interesting. But then the moment where she said, and I have his phone, thinking she was being some kind of like bad bitch. Like, I know she's wrong about this because I have his phone. I believe she did not know. That's just my opinion. I believe that she didn't know that the message had been sent. And so, but the real question is, why didn't Charlie tell her?
I mean, well, we know that he was sleeping in his daughter's room for at least one night before it happened. Maybe they weren't on the best of terms. But even that, why wouldn't Andrew Colvette and Dan Flood tell Erica? And didn't Andrew Colvette, wasn't he the one that told Candace that it was supposed to be her or whatever, or like something along those lines?
Andrew did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Andrew Corvette's telling, communicating with Candace about these things. Why isn't he telling Erica, especially when she's the new CEO and he sees her every day or however often he sees her? You know what I mean?
So-
Like, why wouldn't I don't know. Like, it's just there's so many things that just don't add up.
So are you implying in any way that it shows that she's not in as deep as maybe Andrew and some others are because she wasn't in that loop about?
No, I'm just saying that they're all being proven as liars. It's hard to tell when you have no baseline for truth what's
Oh,
real.
we
and
all
what's
know
not.
that.
You know what I mean? Like,
My people, like, that's why I was like, you watch Candace, right? Because yeah, of course they were going to get the.
and no, with me, I saw
car
somebody
out of there.
commenting saying, "What does this guy think Brian Harpo's innocent?" It's like, no, not at all. What I
That would
try
be
to
great.
do, the way
Yes,
that I
yes,
try
he
to
does.
think.
Yes, he does.
Now we're back to stand up.
And he believes Jesus was a Mason.
No, but I always
And-
try to look at things objectively and try to see it from both sides, because sometimes that's how you find things that you might have missed. Which
yeah.
this clip that I'm about to show you guys, it's an interview that
And I'm
everybody's
sorry,
seen.
we don't have time. We don't have time for the clip tonight. So we're going to have to next time. Okay, show the damn clip.
All right. You got to pull it up. You got to pull it to the stage.
Oh, I do?
Yeah, you got to. I'll play it and everything, but you got to show it to the stage.
I got it. So I got to hit on add to stage.
Yep.
Such power. Such power. One time Don Cheadle asked if he could send me a private message on Twitter. And to that point in time, that was the most power I ever had in Hollywood. Okay. So add to stage. Here we go.
All right. Now give you
Sean.
guys the context. Sean Ryan is about to ask Brian Harpole about the hand signals and whether or not they were used. Now, keep in mind, for people that don't know, Sean Ryan is a former Navy SEAL, a former CIA contractor. He worked with Blackwater. He did the highest level of security that you could basically do when you're in American intelligence. The guy's basically qualified to be a mercenary. So he's going to give comments on him using hand signals as well. And I want you guys to pay attention to what Brian Harpole says and his reactions.
Hand and arm signals, from the security team. There's been concerns about it from my own personnel that work here. I've worked security details, done a lot of sniper work.
Did you ever use hand and arm signals?
I use hand and arm signals every single time on every detail, everywhere I went. And, one of the rumors was.
All right, now, right there, he's saying, and keep in mind, Sean Ryan's a lot more qualified with security than Brian Harpole. And when he says, I used hand and arm signals, and he's not just saying hand signals, he's saying hand and arm signals every single time, every single detail. Now, he's setting the baseline to normalize it so that Brian Harpole can explain some of these. He's going to write off the one with Frank Turek touching the hat. But I think that Sean Ryan was alluding to the Dan Flood stealing third base right before Charlie was shot. And he's going to try to give him an out, like a way to explain it, and watch Brian Harpole's response to this. I think it was mind blowing.
He's got the ball cap. He did the ball cap wiggle. That's the Marine Corps sniper. I've done a lot of sniper operations. Nobody wears ball caps.
So that was my lead question. You ever use hand signals? And it's like, yes.
Yes.
Were your hands?
And you would already establish. I'm going to cover for you here.
Yeah.
Now, that right there, you see how Brian Harpole starts giving his answer, his explanation, and 2 seconds in, Sean Ryan is cutting him off, saying, hold on, I'm going to cover for you. It's like, why would Sean Ryan even want to cover for Brian Harpole? Like, he's platforming him so he could tell his story. Like I referred to this, that it was like bowling with the bumpers. Like Sean Ryan was really trying to hold his hand and protect him in this interview, and it never made sense to me. But I always want to point that part out because it's so weird. Like, you're interviewing somebody and then you want to answer for them, because you know what I mean. But let's keep going. Or you got to take?
I was just going to say, I took it as that I'm going to cover for you wasn't like protecting, but I'm going to explain this because I can probably do it more articulately than you can.
Maybe.
That was just my knee jerk reaction. But I hear you. Keep going.
Because this is a rumor that I just fucking hate.
I know.
Because that is what it takes. You can't be on the radio all the time because you're tying the net up. We had already established that you had other security professionals within the crowd that you're trying to communicate with, and that's how you do it. That is how you do it.
Well, I'll speak to this one. You're using hand signals, or if you were to use hand signals, and those are an option, especially like under MVG or things like that. One, are those hand signals normal ones that you would see during normal gesticulation? Or those definitive hand signals?
Mm-hmm.
They're definitive so that they can't be confused with a guy scratching his ass.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the first one. The second one is that hand signal. When a bubble team is there, we're not using hand signals. Sniper details, absolutely. Why? Because you can see that. Are we looking around at each other looking for hand signals? Mm-hmm. We're looking at in the front in our area of responsibility. If we needed to relay a message, then we would, hey, right here on comms. And or we're notorious for, if I need to get somebody's attention on the team, I'm not going to sit there and use a hand signal if he's in my line of sight. I'm just going to go like that. He's going to look up and I'm going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I looked up and did a hand signal on the team and did that or that, he's going to look at me like, so what do you want me to do then?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So for that, that's not good communication. It has to be definitive. It has to be necessary.
It could be an acknowledgement.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Now, you hear when Sean Ryan says it could be an acknowledgement. I think that he was referring again to Dan Flood, and you'll see why in a second. Because Dan Flood, like that was the big hand signal that everybody made a big deal about. And then when Frank Turek touched his hat, people were like, oh, maybe that's something with snipers. And then like what Brian Harpole was trying to say is that like, well, are the hand signals that you guys are calling out definitive? You know, because you're freeze framing and taking all the footage and freeze framing and bringing things in slow motion and trying to, you know, call out things that you're saying are hand signals when in reality it could just be like a natural movement. But now Brian Harpole is establishing that we did not use hand signals. We don't use hand signals. And now Sean Ryan saying it could be an acknowledgement, like this one specific signal could mean something else. Now watch this.
Yep. Receive.
get me out of here.
Yep. You're right. Absolutely. Yeah. And what you're doing there is deliberate. Yeah. These are deliberate.
You know,
Did you catch that?
No.
All right. I want to switch to another one just so that people understand what I'm. Oh, wait. Hold on. I got to add one more. Oh, I'll get right back to it. I can only do one at a time, I guess.
Yeah, I really want to track. Like, I want to.
I just want
what
people
you're saying and get it.
I want people to understand what I'm saying. So here, can you pull this back up?
I can. If I don't have that word highlighted. Okay.
All right. Now, this is Baron Coleman back in, when was this? I think this was December. Yeah, the beginning of December. And that's Dan Flood behind Charlie Kirk. And they're going to be talking about call signs and signals.
Championship again. And every single player is getting different call signs. That is definitionally different. And unity is what creates a good football.
You see what Dan Flood did?
No, I'm sorry. I was looking at Charlie.
Charlie Kirk. Here, I'll pull it back so you can see.
You see,
I get so sad now when I see Charlie.
But it's frozen right now. So when Charlie Kirk says players get call signs, Dan Flood looks at two different people on security and smiles and does the same exact motion that he did right before Charlie was shot. This same, like, hit your arm there. Watch, I'll play it again.
he's not looking randomly to his right. He's looking at someone. He's looking.
Wait, let me.
To create a team. For example, if you guys want to win the SEC again, of which I am pulling for Texas A&M to win an SEC championship again. And
And you wonder why he's considered a wizard everywhere he goes. I can assure you he doesn't care whether Texas A&M wins an SEC championship. I can absolutely assure you. Nevertheless, the guy's a wizard. He knows what's important. I'm sure he got a talking point. Hey, mention football.
Every single player is getting different call signs. That is definitionally
See, he's doing it right there.
Did you catch it? Did you catch it? If every single player is getting different call signs, look at the look on Dan Flood's face. You see the smile? Do you see the laugh? He's not looking randomly to his right. He's looking at someone. He's looking at someone right there. And what did he do seconds before that? Milliseconds before that? He did the sign. He did the sign. Watch it again.
Championship again. And every single player is getting different call signs. That is definitionally different. And unity is what creates a good football.
Now, I just want to, because there's a part here where they actually freeze it on him doing the sign. Here it is. That is what Dan Flood did the second before Charlie was shot or an explosion or whatever put him down. And when Charlie Kirk back in May is referencing players get call signs, he does the same motion and he's glancing and winking at his security team as if it's some kind of inside joke. Now, back to this Brian Harpole interview, he's going out of his way to try to say that they don't use hand signals, that it doesn't make sense. And Sean Ryan, who's way more experienced, is saying like, he did security and they did hand signals every single time on every single detail.
Right.
But now watch. I'm going to put this in slow motion. I'll wait till I get up to the point. And now the camera's on Brian. It's not on Sean. But I want you to try to see the gesture that Sean Ryan is doing and then see Brian Harpole's reaction.
Whole team is there. We're not using hand signals. Sniper details, absolutely. Why? Because you can see that. Are we looking around at each other looking for hand signals? We're looking at in the front in our area of responsibility. If we needed to relay a message, then we would, hey, right here on comms. We're notorious for, if I need to get somebody's attention on the team, I'm not going to sit there and use a hand signal if he's in my line of sight. I'm just going to go like that. He's going to look up and I'm going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I looked up and did a hand signal on the team and did that or that, he's going to look at me like, so what do you want me to do then?
Mm-hmm.
So for that, that's not good communication. It has to be definitive. It has to be necessary.
It could be an acknowledgement.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah.
Okay, now you see, I'm going to slow it down here because I want you to pay attention. I know the camera's behind Sean Ryan, but try to look at Sean Ryan right now, okay?
receive me out of here.
Yeah.
Right here, watch.
Thanks.
You're right.
You might have to come up with your own drinking game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Now I'm gonna speed it up a little bit, but I'll still keep it a little.
What do you want us looking
Lower.
for?
He just did it. I think that Sean Ryan just did the Dan Flood hand signal. And now Brian Harpole is going to do it himself and say that's definitive. That's a hand signal. And I think that Brian Harpole was doing this on purpose to distance himself from Dan Flood. Watch Brian Harpole right now.
what you're doing there is deliberate.
Remember he said, is it deliberate? Is it definitive?
Right.
And he kept saying, we don't use hand signals. But he's going out of his way to acknowledge the Dan Flood signal as a deliberate hand signal. I mean, that's how I got that.
So it's like spotlighting Dan.
Yes, but in a very not spotlighting Dan, but spotlighting the hand signal, acknowledging it as a signal and distancing himself from it, saying we don't do that. We don't even use hand signals. But that That's a hand signal. Well, he does it like that.
Right.
So for that, that's not good communication. It
I
has to be
keep going so much. It
here.
zooms so much more than I wanted to.
Man,
I don't know why. Like, why would he think that was a good idea? No,
What, the whole
nobody.
interview?
Yeah. Why would he think that was a good
You
idea?
guys, you guys already saw it. We could pull it down.
Why do I have to take it down? Okay.
Yeah, just take it down. I think everybody saw it.
Like there's something about the quality of some of these people, like Frank Turek and Rob McCoy, Pastor Rob McCoy. They come off like these desperate little men in need of validation. And in that, was it that interview with Sean or the one he did with Paramount Tactical, where he said Frank got in the, like, we didn't even expect Frank to get in the van. He's like, I don't want to make a big deal out of it now. Like he was a known, like, he called him a known or whatever. So they weren't freaking out about him being in the vehicle, but they didn't expect him to be. So it really came off like Frank was weaseling his way in. And then when you see Frank's behavior afterwards and the way that he is milking, it just comes off like he's milking his 15 minutes, not like he's some savvy operative, unless the op is to just have these idiots parading around. Like Rob McCoy is the same way. Like he needs to, he lost it to be on a pulpit in a church. Was it last Sunday? I haven't even gotten to that one yet. And he's just, the lies, just obvious lies. I don't know if he meant to say Candace was making $800,000 a year, but to say that she was making that.
No, it's ridiculous. And you know what's funny? I actually covered Rob McCoy the other day because again, back in December, he was like giving a speech, doing some kind of interview somewhere. I think it might have even been in Israel. I'm not sure, but they were asking him about like the conspiracy theories and this and that. And he said, he's like, now, people are attacking Tucker. People are attacking Candace. He's like, and he was basically saying that it's wrong, that Charlie wanted to bring people together for dialogue, that they shouldn't be getting attacked. And then now fast forward a couple months. But then again, this is also the same guy that right after Charlie was killed, got on Fox News and said it was obviously a professional hit. And then a week later, he's like, no, it was Tyler Robinson, lone shooter, 22-year-old with his grandpa's gun. They got the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah. I genuinely want to know what happened to Charlie Kirk. I genuinely want justice to be done. I don't have a dog in the fight, so to speak. This is, if you have, not you, but like if you have followed my posts, you can see me like trying to figure it out and giving her the benefit of the doubt every opportunity I can. When she said, I don't drink, I didn't take that to mean she never drank or that she had just stopped, probably when she got together with Charlie, because I have video of her in 2018, whatever, or 2017. She's, grabbing for liquor out of the freezer. And thank you so much for your gift, Sam. Sam's asking you, Bayes, thoughts on BH offering SR the bloody bag. Oh, Sean Ryan, the bloody bag. I wish he would have taken it.
Yeah.
Gosh, because it turn it over to evidence then.
Yeah, why,
oh my
why wouldn't
God.
Sean Ryan? It's weird. But again, like when I saw that interview the first time, like Brian Harbaugh just came off so full of shit and so guilty but part of it was because he's nervous. And it's like, is he nervous about getting caught? And then in hindsight, watching the interview and then seeing and this is what I meant about always trying to see things from a different perspective. Because like I said, I spoke to somebody that met Brian Harbaugh on multiple occasions. And they said of everybody involved in Turning Point USA, that he is literally the last person that they think would be involved, that he'd be the last. So when I heard that, like I felt kind of obligated to like just try to watch it again and be like, is there something else there? And that's when I
Mhm.
caught, I'm like, wow, like he's not just trying to brush off all the hand signals in an ignorant way. He's kind of pointing out the Dan Flood one and just distancing himself from it. Like that wasn't how I saw that the first time, but it was definitely how I see it now. So then finding out now that he's also trying to give a bloody bag to Sean Ryan, like was he trying to get something out?
I don't know. I think he would have probably connected with Sean directly and made sure he took it.
It's just
But
the whole
it's
it's weird.
I've been involved in ministries, on campus, evangelical ministries, and being on staff at a church and being part of a evangelical team in London, starting youth centers and stuff. And you get so in your own bubble in some ways, which is ironic because you're supposed to be spreading a message out, and it just dumbfounds me. I just think about how much of that mentality they must have, or obviously have, because they think we can't see stuff. For Erica to keep saying, you can't hurt me, you can't get me, you can't, whatever the other thing was, you won't upset me, you can't, and then I want to go home. Like,
Oh, the whole
there,
I want to go home thing. She didn't say that until she noticed she was being recorded. She like turned that off. She turned that off.
that whole thing, and I don't have what Candace nailed it, and I think it was 1:00 yesterday morning. My son came home from working at In and Out, and I'm watching Candace describe this disorder that, there's a term, I don't have it right in front of me, it's not right here right now, but the which would explain why her eyes go big and why the moods shift, because I had her as like bipolar 2, but I didn't know what this other category was that she described, but the eyes and the dissociating, I think disassociative was somewhere in there. But do you remember the last?
No, but there's
Last one
definitely
I
there's
talked
definitely
to.
something going on with Erica on like a mental and emotional level.
Oh, yeah, I love the clip of Joe Rogan just kind of saying, I don't know what he said exactly, but it's like she's batshit crazy. Like she is really. And again, my first response when she was up on stage at that memorial, I'm like, why are they doing this to her? Like, who loves her? When anytime I'm like, who loves her? I wasn't saying she's not lovable. I'm like, who's caring for her? Because whose best interest is it for her to do this? And now I believe it's hers. But that's, the moment's coming full circle, and we can wrap it up here. But to watch her give that speech and to be so hit with, wow, she's faking this. Well, the quickness of a breath, and her eye can't make a quick, natural downward crying thing. It kind of stutters on the way. It just like, wow, she's faking it, and other people to be like, no, she's definitely whatever. Like, just how I like look at Trump, and I'm like, how could people believe what he said? Like, for him. But you know what's ridiculous? When he said the ballroom, you won't have to pay for it. I bought that. There was so much else going on. I'm like, he knocked it down. Like, what an asshole for doing that. For other words are coming to mind. But so he's getting what he wanted.
And it's crazy. He brought up that ballroom right after Charlie died, when they
With the whole stick.
when they asked him
The
how
whole
he felt
stick.
about it. He's like, well, we're building the ballroom. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah. And the fact, the whole coordinated, of the regular players that are like, we need a ballroom now. We need a ballroom now. And I'm worn out with not on a soul level, but I guess I'm just kind of, I'm naive still. My mom, one time when I was 15 and I lost it about something, she was like, "You are such a trusting child." I'm like, "Well, I'm 15 now, bitch." So, but now I'm 57, and but there's still that childlike thing in me that is like, really, like, there are people that I believe are being paid and who are spreading misinformation for financial gain or being coerced by some other reason. And it's like, really, like, that's how you want to, that's the impact you want to have. That just kind of, that bums me out. And then the lack of compassion, the lack of, you can burn in hell if you don't support this widow. That doesn't upset me. It's just, weird. I was going to challenge you guys. One, again, I mentioned this earlier. Remember, if you comment on somebody's thing, you're helping getting them paid. So if somebody's post pisses you off and you feel like you need to let them know it, if you feel like you got to say it a way that nobody else has, you're just helping them get paid and you're boosting their exposure so more people can see it. So one challenge is to maybe not comment on that, but to positively enforce, the posts that you do like, or the comments that you do like. Look for the good things.
Yeah,
And
that kind of goes hand in hand with where I'm at right now, because I've spent so much time like researching like all of the ugliest things about the world and making content about it, and it really is soul crushing. And it's like, now it's like, okay, like we already know, like, what can we do about it? And that's where I want to start to pivot to, where it's not just about pointing out who's bad and what's bad, but trying to figure out solutions to like actually solve these problems. And because you get people that watch this type of stuff all the time, and they're constantly getting like all this bad news, and at some point it's like, we're just like the news, like you watch the news, you get all stressed out and everything. It's like, people need to like learn how and be able to deal with like to cope with this kind of information and learn how to like navigate through it, because like I said, even for me, just doing the research and talking about it all the time, it's like, especially like with the files, like it's hard. Like it takes a toll on me.
Yeah, I believe we're here to learn how to love. We're here to learn how to love. Sometimes I have to remove myself, like, let's just pretend that this is a game and me winning is me not losing my shit right now. So I'm going to go on X and I'm going to read comments and engage with the people who took the time to comment. But the game, so to speak, not necessarily in a manipulative sense, but just is to exercise the muscle in my brain that's not going to let myself get triggered and wrapped up. And I've actually built some pretty solid relationships with people online who came out of the gate coming at me. On Facebook in 2016, there was a woman in the South who threw out the C word, going nuts, and an hour later she was placing an order for Think Happy stuff.
I've won a few people over myself. I'm hoping to win over more.
Yeah.
It's also tough when you don't pander, because people, they want to be right. They want to watch people that are going to reinforce what they already believe. And there are a lot of these like big creators that have like million plus followings that, like that's what they're doing. It's like their whole shtick,
It's just, it's messy. And my views on this whole thing, like from the beginning, I was just kind of working it out. I was just, there was a podcast that I watched, the one where they're answering questions about relationships, where I thought, I think I even titled it something like, did Charlie like spiritually abuse Erica? Because there was a control, there was a power dynamic. Even today, I would say there was a power dynamic that she definitely like submitted to, that she wasn't taking on. And then it would come out in passive aggressive ways where he'd say, do you want the next question? And she goes, no, I want you to, just things that seemed like nothing but I pick up all these like micro things, the ADD or the OCD or whatever. I'm
Did
not
we
saying
talk?
it's a gift; it's a pain in the ass.
Did we talk
But
last time about when Erica couldn't remember the dates?
yeah, because I'm like,
About
give
like
the bitch a break.
anniversaries
I
and
can't remember days. I honestly, I don't know what today is. Thursday? No, the thing was called Thursday night. So now it's Friday, right? I don't know what day it is most of the time.
no,
Like
but like
I
anniversaries.
well, see, Doug and I, were married, divorced, and remarried. So
Yeah,
um
that's a different.
our wedding anniversary, I think the first time we got married was January 25th. My daughter, our firstborn, was January 29th. But I still take a beat because I almost flip those dates sometimes. And no, I've got, I think my short term memory is a little more of a challenge than the longer term. But no, I mean, that was one where I was like, so what if she can't remember? Now, what got my attention more is that the podcast where she's on for the first time and she's like,
Oh
this
my
is
god!
so,
And
because
she's
I
like,
can't
she's
concentrate.
nervous.
I'm so nervous, guys. And then each sentence and he was getting frustrated. He was getting frustrated. And I caught another video, just another clip, a little quick thing they did for their social media where he's frustrated too because she's acting like she sabotages it because he had the power, except for when she said, "Oh, is that what you're going to say?" And then he had to start over again. So the power dynamic was there. I'm really tired, so I lost my train of thought again. But I'm glad we got to do this.
Yeah, me too.
And I appreciate you
I was
guys
really
hanging out
looking
with
forward
us.
to it. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. We were gonna do it about a week or so ago. Again, I don't was that last week? Because I would have said a week and a half or something. When were we talking about doing it? And
It
then
was about a week and a half.
God, it's something like
Yeah, it's about
I
2
don't know,
weeks ago.
whatever. And my eye infection. See, that's another thing. I put on a little makeup for you guys, but my eyes still are
I know
just
your eye, my neck, we're all banged up. We had to like push it
oh,
back a little bit.
I know. But now I'm nocturnal. Oh, I bet Doug is asleep on the couch out there. I did put the link for the van in these comments.
Oh,
And
send it to me on IG
okay.
if you can.
And I hope we have it set so the comments won't disappear. Also, you guys, please go to thinkhappystuff.com. THINK happy stuff STUFF.com. That is our merch. That is a gift company that we started back in 2006. It's my handwriting on there. It's a little reminder that can make a big difference in your day. Last week, a woman reached out to buy a mug, and unfortunately, it's not a color that we have anymore, but she had had her mug for 16 years, Bays.
Oh,
16 years, and it broke. We've had people reach out that were just crying either because they broke it themselves or they broke their friend's mug, and they were like seeing the reaction. I mean, I'm not kidding. I mean, I'm like, wow, God, she had this for 16 years. But thinkhappystuff.com, that is our business. It comes to us directly. Doug packs the order for you.
Those are the mugs behind you, I'm guessing? That little
Yes.
collection that you got there?
Yeah. Those are the mugs. Those are the mugs. Pretty subtle, right? And we have these. And actually, oh my gosh, we have a few items, we've never done this before, that are half off. And this is one of them, which kind of surprises me he did that because these are my favorite. They're really good. Okay. So I never know how to wrap these up. How do you wrap? Is there something that you say?
Yeah, no, I got a little slogan if you want me to use it.
What do you say? What's your? I mean, I'm not going to end on it, but I'm curious.
No,
to
you
know
can
what
end
it
on
is.
it. You can say it's not mine. I just say I always tell people at the end, no matter what we're covering, be kind, be grateful, do something nice for somebody, and the whole have a good night.
Yeah, preach it. I love how your faith has been expanded in this whole process.
Oh,
And
100%.
what I was going to say this earlier is that all the scripture that was coming to mind were the same truths that would, if I opened the Quran, or I mean, they were universal. You know, it was a, you know, whether it was about speaking the truth in love, or, you know, it wasn't something like, I know the scripture and it's a secret that only, you know, God and I and born again Christians have. So I've definitely experienced a spiritual reawakening as well.
That's a beautiful thing.
It's an opportunity, but you know, it's easy to be either afraid of the unknown or scared by it, because there's a lot of stuff and it is kind of scary and it's dark. So yeah, we have to hope in something good. No, we don't have to. Let me correct that. We don't have to, but there is something innate in us, because I believe we were made by that good, that is like resonates. And that's also why it hurts so bad, and why it's so painful and frustrating, and why, because we were, you know, if we were created by that perfect and had that perfect community, then of course these broken things would feel so bad. It's not the way it's supposed to be, but it's the way it's going to be here. It's a mistake to think, you know, none of these things are going to happen here. So
Yeah.
you guys encourage each other, say something nice to a stranger, smile at a stranger. If you get down about anything, I promise you, if you just think, what's something I can do for somebody else right now, it'll help get you out of that. There you go. Any last minute advice, Mr. Bayes?
Advice? No, but if anybody wants to follow me, you can catch me. I'm on
Please
YouTube,
do.
XIG at RealBayes.
Please do. Do you have that? Is it up? So you guys just take a moment and follow the man right now. Just do it. Just stop what you're doing. Just stop what you're doing and subscribe now. Thank you for your support.
And thank
Thank
you
you for the
again, Christine.
encouragement.
You are the best.
You're the best. You're the best. What you talking about? I sound too
We got to do this again.
We will. Oh, we
Gotta do
definitely
this
will.
again, especially once the
Okay.
trial starts ramping up.
Oh, God.
There's going to be a lot of news, a lot to talk about.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. God bless us, everyone. Okay, guys.
Thank
Love
you,
you guys. Thank you,
Have a
Bayes.
great night, guys. Thank
Talk
you.
soon. Bye. You know, you say bye, and then you don't do it right. So I'll try again. Bye. End stream.